Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It is Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA, and it is time for Tuesdays with DX Engineering. And typically, this is a show where we have some of the DX Engineering employees on to talk about what's going on at DX Engineering. And one of the viewers here a few weeks ago said, "Hey, what's the deal between DX Engineering and Summit Racing?" And I thought, that's a great idea. And why not have a show that talks about DX Engineering and Summit Racing and what makes the engine go? Today, we have a very special guest. It's the Chief Marketing Officer of Summit Racing, Al, K3LR. Hello, Al.
Tim, how are you today?
Great. Al, thanks so much for being here. And tell us, I mean, not only are you with Summit Racing, but you're a ham, and you have a lot to do with advertising and promotion of DX Engineering. Tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So my role at Summit and with DX Engineering, I'm Chief Marketing Officer. So I am very fortunate to lead a fantastic team of people that determine the classic 4 Ps of marketing: product, price, place, promotion. And we work on things every single day in order to try to make things as good as we can for Summit Racing, as well as DX Engineering.
And so, Al, let's talk, and if you have a question about Summit Racing or DX Engineering, today's the day. Now's the time. Put it up in the chat because we do want to hear from you. We want to know what you want to know. You know, this is a great opportunity. And Al, you went and got your ham license because of DX Engineering.
Absolutely, Tim. Absolutely. So in dealing with yourself and all the DXE team, sitting in meetings, trying to understand what is an unon, what are all these things that are being talked about and referenced in the meetings. And honestly, ham radio to me is fascinating. It really is. It's a whole different world, very similar to Summit customers in that it is so hands-on and you can so quickly get completely immersed into the hobby. I've been with you to Hamvention a few times and plan to go back next year. Just really similar how customers interact with the brands and how we're there to serve our customers. And Summit and DX both share the passion for the industry. We want to be the biggest supporters for ham radio and automotive, Jeep, truck, motorsports, hobbies, really throughout the world. That's our goal overall.
Right, and very, very much in sync between the two companies. Let's talk a little bit about Summit Racing's history. Al, tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Summit Racing was founded in 1968. Enterprising young engineer, had a Corvette that had raced it and modified it, and found out that if I buy parts in quantity and get some of my friends together, today you'd call that a group buy. Back then, he did these group buys on different parts. The business quickly outgrew being in his home to a variety of locations over the years. And then Summit Racing in Talmadge, at the location that we're at, was started many years ago. Added on to over the years. And then Site 2 was added in Nevada, so that was our second facility. That gave us quick access to the West Coast. Site 3 in McDonough, Georgia was added after that. I believe that was in 2005. And then in 2017, our Texas location was added. And so we have 4 locations strategically placed around the country to get your parts as quickly as possible.
Now, it's just an amazing engine that works for Summit Racing, and the fact that DX Engineering now for several years has been able to take advantage of Site 2 in Sparks, Nevada, and that location gives great coverage to the hams that are ordering from DX, and in a lot of cases, Al, one-day delivery. If your order is over $100, over $99, you're going to get it the next day.
Yeah, that's right. And for free as well, too,
right,
unless there's an oversized charge or truck freight or any item like that.
Right.
Yeah, Nevada for the DX operations, fantastic. Customers in California, states that align with our Nevada shipping location get their parts incredibly fast.
Yes, no, that works. And the fact that it's so refined with Summit Racing over that, since 1968, of really figuring out how to do order fulfillment fast. And the fact that if you order before 10 o'clock Eastern time during the business days, that you're, and it's in stock, it's likely that that product's going to ship that same night,
Yeah.
which is just incredible.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Our warehousing and distribution, we call them the Order Fulfillment Center, the OFC. Fantastic team at all 4 locations. They do just a tremendous job. I keep trying to test this. I'll place an order at 9:38. Sure enough, it goes that day. The team does an absolutely amazing job.
That is, and we'll get into the history of DX Engineering a little bit here too. But I did want to recognize some of the folks that are on chat. Michael, W3MLJ, who was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, young Michael. He's up off the coast of Maine, probably getting ready for the contest with Kilo 1 Sierra. Rodney is on, Kilo Juliet 5 Fox Whiskey Charlie. And he says, good afternoon, Tim and Al. Love the combination of hams and racing. And from out on the West Coast, it's Kilo Mike 6 Sierra Oscar X-Ray. And Earl says, why can't we speed parts along with radio parts on the same order? Getting a Summit Racing order and a DX Engineering order in the same box.
Yeah, the challenge is that those 2 orders will actually process through different internal systems, actually handle a little bit differently. Some of the automotive parts we have are stored in different locations than where all the ham radio parts are. So it's better. We will gladly take 2 orders from you, no problem. We'll fill your ham radio order, we'll fill your hot rod parts order, but they do have to go through 2 separate processes because of the locations of the inventory.
Right. And Rodney says, if you open a DX Engineering store at the Arlington Summit Superstore, I am set. And you never know. It could happen.
You never know. You just never know.
And Jose is on, X-Ray Echo 2, Zulu Zulu, always a favorite on these shows. And Tim, Victor Alpha 3 Uniform Golf from up in Ontario says, good luck this weekend in the CQWW. If you have questions about Summit Racing and DX Engineering, this was a rare opportunity to have us both here on the show. And of course, DX Engineering in 2025, we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary year. So 25 years of doing business in amateur radio and in communications products all over the world, building stations as simple as just end-fed half-wire or half-wave antennas and 100 watts, or maybe some QRP stations, parks on the air. So very large stations in Barbados, the Philippines, and anywhere in between. And, Al, we at DX Engineering, and I know you do at Summit Racing, try to focus on the beginner, on answering all those questions. How about the customer support side of Summit Racing?
Yeah, so our customer support, we pride ourselves on providing the best customer support in the industry. We have a seasoned staff of our phone sales agents willing to answer any question that a customer may have. And if we aren't able to answer the question, we have all of our manufacturers behind us so we can contact them and get an answer for the question. Similar to DX Engineering, we like thinking of our customers all the way from the beginning throughout the entire hobby, throughout their entire lifespan. So I know that you sponsor a lot of youth initiatives. We do the same thing on the Summit side. Big programs for us are like the NHRA Junior Drag Racing League. We want to sponsor the kids all the way down to, say, 4 and 5 years old that are starting to race juniors, take them all the way through the hobby their entire life. We also sponsor a lot of activities in karting. So that's another area. And we have other things that if you have a son or a daughter that isn't necessarily looking to go out racing every weekend, we have remote control cars. We have driving simulators, anything that we can have to get people engaged in our hobby. We really want them to be here.
And Al, you're all in on this too. I mean, this is what you do at night and on the weekends.
Oh, yeah.
This was your hobby before you started working at Summit Racing, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. Yeah, when I got my license, my mother, I didn't tell her this till years later, but I got my learner's permit. I bought a 68 Camaro when I was 15, paper out, grass cutting money, read a bunch of articles on Hot Rod about how to do paint and body work and all these things, worked for a body shop. A couple friends were nice enough to help me and show me the right way to do some of this stuff. And I had the car painted and done. So I got my learner's permit, ready to go. In Ohio at that time, you just had to have a licensed driver with you. So a friend of mine's there and he said, let's take the car out. And I said, okay. Persuaded my mom. I can't believe she agreed to it. Went right to Edgewater Drag Strip. So that's my home drag strip in Cincinnati. Made a pass down the drag strip with my learner's permit, hooked ever since. So if it's, road racing, autocross, drag racing, any kind of racing, Tim, I just love it. Absolutely love it.
So you're all into the point where, you've got this big garage at home. You're still modifying, hot rods and having a great time with the hobby.
Yeah.
And of course, it led you into your choice of what you did when you went to the university.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to undergrad at the University of Dayton. I received my mechanical engineering technology license there. Went back to night school because I wanted to really understand more of the business side of things. So I got my MBA from the University of Cincinnati. Did that at nights while working for a company, Senco Products, which Senco makes nail guns and staplers and tools. Pneumatic tools are fascinating. Very different than an internal combustion engine, but you still have a piston, you have a driver, you have an air valve that actually creates the power. And had a great experience working for them. A lot of great friends in the Cincinnati area from that. But that led me into working for Mr. Gasket, which was a supplier to Summit Racing and many other companies back in the mid 1990s. And been happy to live in the automotive world pretty much ever since then.
The rest, they say, is history. But of course, doing your undergrad at the University of Dayton, of course, Dayton, you say Dayton, and it's Hamvention.
Yeah.
And so, you have a lot of familiarity with that area down there. We also have Frank on with us today, Kilo 5 Fox Juliet Alpha, and Richard, Mike 0 Delta Sierra Kilo. Looking forward to catching folks on the air this weekend in the contest. And Kelly is Kilo India 4 Juliet Alpha Victor. Thanks for being on, Kelly. And one of our great sales associates, Dave K. Delta Victor. Great episode, Tim. Awesome to hear from Al and about the Summit racing business and how DX Engineering and Summit are connected together. Ash is on, Kilo Echo 8, Hotel Alpha November. And our friend Joe, K0 November Echo Bravo, talking about Dayton. He'll be there doing kit building. And our friend Jim Scheidler, W5 Juliet, Charlie Sierra on as well. And Alex says, I love how the sites are familiar to me when I'm ordering parts for Parks on the Air or my Miata.
Yes, so, we love Miatas. Miata answers everything, right?
That's
the
it.
answer for everything. I actually had an opportunity to drive a Miata, a local Northeast Ohio SCCA chair, Jonathan Staggs. Jonathan, thank you for the opportunity. Let me jump in his Miata a couple weeks ago. I'd never driven a Miata, Tim.
There you go.
And now I get it. I understand the Miata thing. It's an awesome car.
Well, and two companies that have the same vision, the same outlook, and the same focus on customers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, without customers, we're nothing. And without great sales associates like KTV, we're in good hands. Our friend Mark is on, Mike 0 Delta X-Ray Radio from the London, England area. And Mark, we'll see you this weekend. And in fact, Mark will be here in the store.
Oh,
he's coming in a few weeks to do, we'll do a live event here on the DX Engineering Show. So
excellent.
Al, what's the future look like for Summit Racing?
Future for Summit Racing. So I would say that any aspect of modifying, racing, restoring your truck, your Jeep, your muscle car, we want to be involved in it. And every time I think we have like all the brands that we need, there's a whole bunch of new brands that come up. And that is really good and really healthy for our industry. So we want to be there with everything our customers need to enjoy the hobby, Tim. So very similar to DX Engineering. The philosophies of the company are both very much the same. Take a customer from the very beginning and just keep growing with them and keep advancing the hobby, keep supporting the industry. I really think it's fantastic between DXE and Summit that the support we provide to the industry really is second to none. And I know you pride yourselves on that with the DXpeditions that happen. We do the same on the motorsports and events side. There is always some opportunity, though, for us to even do more of that. So that's what we hope to keep accomplishing and keep growing.
Right, and we do listen to our customers too. We listen. Yeah. You get an email from me as CEO when you buy at DX. You also get an email from the CEO of Summit Racing, when you buy at Summit. And these things are important to get that customer feedback and to make sure that everybody is being taken care of as best we can.
Yeah.
Ronnie, nice to have you on W4 Tango Radio India from Central Florida. Sorry about the devastation down in Florida, and of course all our friends in Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and South Carolina that have been through bad storm situations here over the past few weeks. And thanks to all of you for watching today. It's been great to have Summit Racing and DX Engineering on the same show and talk about all the things that we can do to have fun with the best hobbies in the world.
Yes.
Until next time, 73 from DX Engineering.